first banned as we progressed throughout the group stage, honestly, because he was first phase pick. He was the first revealed hero, and we ended up giving him the MVP. And I've seen it multiple games before in the Last Chance qualifiers as well, where Nyx Assassin just seems to be a great hero for the way that Dota is played right now. So if you have a player that enjoys playing Nyx, then good for you. If you don't, tell them to start enjoying it.
You know, that's so funny because I was reading, I'm trying to remember which interview it was. I'm not sure, it might have been Entity, actually, where they said like, oh, this year is looking really, really strong. And they talked to their support player, I don't know if it was Kataomi or Fishman, I could be thinking of a different interview, it's starting to blend together a little bit, but they said, you know, I'm gonna lose with it a lot, but I will learn it.
Yeah,
and that's the mentality you need to have when you start to see things that are really popping off. It's like, even if you don't play it, it's time to learn it.
That's your MMR grind, the grind set, if you will. You gotta have your mind in the right place. That either you win a lot immediately, and that can be nice, but you can also have games where you lose and learn, and you learn to understand the limits of a hero. So in particular for that first phase of getting used to something, but teams are well past that right now as group stage starts out. Now they have to pull out all the things they're comfortable with and whatever they believe works the best. We see the coach giving some ideas here to the team. They're discussing, probably still probably like breaking down exactly what they did wrong in last game, because they felt like they were in a pretty good spot starting out. They got a lot of kills, got a lot of rotations going, but I think overall the towers falling so early against the Beastmaster can be the downfall of a high aggression team, because if you don't have towers, you can't really get out on the map as fast and make those moves.
Yeah, important to note too, they value BetBoom, their coach, very, very highly. In fact, I think in a recent interview, Stormstormer said that he thought that teams without coaches only reach about 70% of their potential. And they were saying how involved he is with the draft. Whenever they go into replays to like look at old matches, he's got all these notes already like prepared, so that way they can go through and work through them one by one. So pretty neat to see, a very active coach and a team that's very responsive to it.
Yeah, I think it's wild to think back that it's not ages ago. I guess it is ages ago. I'm just old, but there used to be a time when we didn't have coaches for every single team at TI. Like not even every single team had a coach with them. That's crazy to think. Like we've really come a long way from the early days where it was common for just 5 players to hang out and play, and that was it. But now you gotta put so much work in understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your team and how to work around your weaknesses and play into your strengths a lot.
Does every team at TI have a coach at this point?
I'm not sure. I would imagine so for this year's TI, but
I imagine. Like, I'm thinking of all the teams that are here, and I feel like they all do have a coach.
I'm sure they all do. I mean, even a lot of like tier 2 teams that are not necessarily making it to TI already have coaches as well. It is the norm. It's just a long time ago it didn't used to be that common even to have it, but we've come a long way from then. And I think Dota is reaching a higher beauty in my eyes because of all that. Like, the more thoughts go into one team's performance, the better they play on the map afterwards.
Yeah, I believe Soniqs is the last team to pick up, I think they most recently picked up Clairvoyance on like 13th. They made the official announcement that they have a coach that they're working with. So I believe every team here does have a coach. Yeah,
and we're looking like we're about to get ready here. We're getting the clear from the lobby that it's starting, and good luck to both teams. So Entity are ready, Spirit are ready.
Yeah, I'm curious if Entity's going to be able to win one of these games, or if Spirit's just going to continue to just look very, very dominant. Again, I really enjoyed that last draft that they pulled out against Entity.
Yeah, it was a good draft, and I also liked how they played it, but they did have a draw in their series just before this, and while it was pretty dominant, especially the mid to late game fights in the previous game were just extremely one-sided for Team Spirit, but the start was certainly not as dominant as the ending was there, and I think Entity have a good chance to take one game off them here.
We're seeing the usual suspect get banned. We've got the Undying. He's been removed. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Marcy or Enigma to follow up.
10 seconds
Or the
remaining.
Primal Beast. Primal Beast has been very, very popular too.
Yeah, I think
5 seconds
banning out
remaining.
either Primal or Marcy for
Team
Entity here.
Spirits turn to ban.
Last game they went with a Primal and Marcy ban, so
Entities
yeah,
turn
they're
to
probably gonna do
ban.
the same. We see same. The Clockwork gets banned out by Team Spirit as well, a hero that Entity enjoy playing a lot.
This time feels like Entity not so cut and dried with their
10
bans, taking some
seconds
time to
remaining.
consider what do we want to let slip through and what do we want to potentially try to pick up for
5
ourselves.
seconds remaining.
Yeah. I said it earlier when we were watching Fnatic versus Spirit, but I really like how they huddle up and like have, you know, this talk over the draft together, not just sitting everyone by their chair. I think it does something that you bring everyone together and like nobody is off on their own, just sitting and waiting by the chair. Really having a huddle done.
Yeah, I'm curious too because I know in one of the interviews they mentioned on the side of Team Spirit they actually worked with a sports psychologist before Arlington. So I'm not sure if maybe they've picked up some techniques from the sports psychologist of like, you know, grouping up together, trying to feel more as a unit, because I know that is something that some of the psychologists do really try to kind of bring up. Oh, wow, okay.
There it
They
is.
go for the Knicks ban. I like it. I respect it because it was just too good in that first game.
That explains why they were discussing so much there. They were clearly communicating a lot throughout the start here, and Entity took their time, but
10
finally
seconds remaining.
take out the Nyx assassin. So that leaves Marcy in the pool as a high priority. Also leaves Enigma in the pool as a very high priority here. Team Spirit, what do you want to open with?
They're not going to let that Marcy slip into the hands of their opponents, that's for sure.
Okay, so I'm supposing we're gonna have a Toby Enigma here then. Seems like the idea of getting rid of the Nyx, then it's an easier time to even play that Enigma as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Just assuming,
like-
but we'll see. Maybe they have something else in mind for how to deal with Marcy.
Feels almost a little bit like a bait, though, to pick up an Enigma this early. Just because it gives you so much time to, like, be able to draft and counter it. Like, one of the most popular ones, obviously, is the Winter Wyvern. Being able to have the Winter's Curse and sit farther back. They go for the Sven again, too.
There are a lot of counters, but yeah, they don't even go down that route. So they go for Leshrac. This is a hero that Stormstormer has played a ridiculous amount of in his pubs. He's also been grinding it in their scrims, from what I understand.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
Sven and Lesh, this is most likely going to be a support Sven again, but
5
you know,
seconds
as
remaining.
always, we keep our tables open in the current drafting phase. That's how things work. Pure has played Carry Sven in the past as well.
So I feel like there's so many things that pair well with Marcy. Like, Marcy's just a really strong hero. There's a reason why this hero is constantly being just banned out and not being allowed to be touched. Although they do go for the Invoker pickup very early. I guess because you see the Leshrac, you know he's most likely going towards that mid lane. So you want to secure your own hero.
Yeah, quite happy with that matchup. Crossflex Invoker, you can burn a lot of mana from the Leshrac, which is also part of the reason why Nyx was probably a good ban for them. If they wanted to play Lesh, then he doesn't match up well at all against Nyx. He can get stunned very easily, and the mana burn does a tremendous amount of damage to Lesh.
Team Spirits turn to ban.
No Drow. Interesting that they... Huh. What does that imply to you, that they've banned out the Drow?
It could be that Team Spirit like running Drow paired up with the Invoker. It's a very strong combo if you Alacrity up the Drow and you have nice stuff to play in frontline already guaranteed by just having Marcy. So it could just be that, but these teams obviously have experience now from scrimming each other before this started.
That's true. It's actually very, very true. You do get these like team metas that start to form when you have a scrim partner.
Yeah.
Do you know who Entity's main scrim partner is?
No, I could very easily find out though, but I don't think I would be talking too much about exactly what like who they've been scrimming, even if I had the information, I suppose. But
to ban.
all these teams are probably playing quite a lot against each other, unless there's someone particularly that they want to counter out, that they don't want to reveal their cards to. But usually during TI, all the teams just play a bunch of games against each other quite a bit.
Oh, for sure. I just know that, especially coming from certain regions, sometimes you'll pair up with one team in particular to do a lot of
5
scrims
seconds
against one
remaining.
another. So I wasn't sure if they might be scrim partners even before TI, sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
no.
most likely they stay within Western Europe and then the Eastern Europe region. Although I know that they sometimes tend to cross.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for teams when they go to TI to try and get as much scrims as possible with a team from another region, though, because that can be more eye-opening, and you can find new things that you don't get in your own scrims back at home or in your games when you play only within your own region.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, well, they end up going for the Enigma ban themselves over on the side of Entity, so that is another hero we will not be seeing. And again, we talked about Liquid, how they like to ban
Entity's
heroes that
turn
they
to
do
ban.
well with. So Spirit also, in the same vein, do not want to see the Pangolier that they had in the last time.
Yeah, Pango is a hero that Entity could be very happy with here, and would be a fearsome amount of team fight between Leshrac, Sven, and Pango. Would be very obnoxious to go
10
into and find a way to enable the Marcy. Marcy needs heroes that she can actually go and just pop ulti and start punching. If she gets BKB, she can do that on most heroes, but Pango, of course, rolling around would be very
Entity's
annoying for her to deal
turn
with.
to pick.
Right.
Team Spirit's turn to
Rubik ban and a pickup on the Jakiro. That is a Fishman specialty right there.
Yeah, they're playing comfort stuff that they enjoy picking, and this is also ramping up their push potential. They have Sven for the armor, they have Leshrac with
10
damage,
seconds
Jakiro with
remaining.
damage and the tower attack speed reduction. So they're
5
building to
seconds
have
remaining.
somewhat of a 5-man lineup now, Entity. And Team Spirit, if they're running Quaswix Invoker, that could be a good hero to stop that form of mobilization. Just the mana burn is great for that.
So do you think Spirit wants to go full on just team fight against what Entity is starting to plan, or do you think it's better if they get something that's a little bit more split pushy or like pick off orientated?
I would like to see Spirit pick something that's, intending to clash intending fight. When you have Marcy, she is such a strong hero in the current patch. It would be almost a bit of waste to not be competent for 5v5 fights. So at least pick enough that you have fighting. Oh yeah, after last game though, why not take the Enchantress again? We saw some terrible damage from that Hurricane Pike Enchantress.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild the way that that Untouchable made her pretty much invincible as
10
Stormstormer was trying to close the gap, and ends up getting it turned right back around
5
on him.
seconds
So
remaining.
why not let Miposhka play his Enchantress again?
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet hero in the sense that she can add that impetus damage, but also have such pesky scouting with creeps all the time. He was staying on top of that as well, not just the Hawks and the Nyx running around. What do I want to pair up with it though? I'm expecting that they're gonna pick the hero that will lane together with the Enchantress here, or they might run the Marcy on the off lane, of course, as well.
Entity's turn to
I mean, both lanes are incredibly strong. They go for the Faceless Void. I think that's a pretty nice choice.
Yeah, it's a combination that is, as old as the Invoker Cataclysm. You have the Invoker Faceless Void. It is a potent threat in the mid and late game. Even if you go Quasrex Invoker, eventually you will get to a point of having Aghanim's Cataclysm for the Chronosphere, and it just deletes heroes. Also, time dilation looks pretty nice in this game against Leshrac. Makes it hard for him to stay on top of heroes, and that's really what he needs to do his damage output. He needs to chase people, and time dilation is a good slow for that.
Yeah, they do have quite a few slows as well, because now with the Dispose, it doesn't actually stun, it just slows you. You've got the slow from Enchantress. Lots of ways to kind of kite throughout these fights coming out from the side of Spirit.
Yeah,
Does give you a little bit of heal, which is nice too, over with the Enchantress, which is also very strong in laning.
Looking pretty balanced for Spirit. I like the combination as well of just having Alacrity on Faceless Void. He can truly destroy anything that he gets next to if you're allowed to hit. So Entity, they get to see the Faceless Void. Right now, they do have some disables, but they're not the fastest stuns. They have Sven stun, which takes a while before it reaches. You can time walk it. There's the Leshrac and Jakiro who are good at following up, but they can't really lead. So maybe they will go something like a... Okay, I was gonna say maybe they go for something like a Beastmaster, but they go for another BM, and it's gonna be the Broodmother.
Yeah, I like this. I like this. Gives them quite a bit of push. It gives them some control. They don't have the greatest way of being able to clear those spiderlings. Pretty nice decision. And they also, this will give them the opportunity, as we've seen before with like Faith Bien playing the Broodmother, having that vision, being able to move the spider babies and just micro all of them, so that way there's always some sort of vision in the general area as the game goes on. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good hero to set the pace as well. You can play behind her and take down the towers with Jakiro quite easily. And Entity with a respect ban here, the Magnus would have been a great fit for Team Spirit, as they have Faceless Void as well. And of course they have Collapse Magnus, you know, the most notorious Magnus of them all.
What do we think about a Mars or something for the side of Spirit? Because I'm assuming they still need that Collapse hero.
I think Mars is completely fair here. I like it because then they have a burst against the Broodlings as well. The God's Rebuke is very good for killing them. And it would work fairly well here, I think, into their draft. You can synergize with the Invoker as well. Mars and Marcy lane is quite powerful. But I think they could also go for something like a Tidehunter or an Axe. Yeah, Axe gets banned out by Entity.
Ooh, a Tidehunter, that does sound pretty good.
Yeah, there are a lot of heroes that fit the
Survivable.
same mold, the same form for this draft here. So Spirit, it's really just a flavor of which one do you want.
10 seconds remaining.
Which would you prefer to see?
5 seconds.
I would still say probably Mars. It feels like the safe choice, the boring choice perhaps, but I would love to see Tidehunter get some action, and I think it's quite good into this, but it's going to be Mars.
Okay. I like this. I think we've seen how much damage that just Miposhka alone can output. So if Miposhka is able to sit farther back while Mars gets off a nice arena, it allows a nice setup for the Invoker if he wants to get some of those spells thrown out. And then, you know, you've got a initiation or a reinitiation with your Faceless Void. You've just got a lot of options on the table. I like this draft a lot from the side of Spirit.
I think Pure are going to go with a real hard carry here that can sit back and farm up as well. Last game they went with that early game tempo stuff, but looking at Broodmother being drafted, I can't help but feel like they want to take this game into the later stages. So you want something that matches up decently against the Faceless Void as well. It's hard to predict though. Pure has so many heroes they place. They have settled. They're going to go with the Naga Siren.
Select your heroes.
I mean, I've been calling for Naga Siren so much in our casts over and over. I was actually gonna call for it again here, but teams don't pick it enough, so I felt bad to say it. But okay, they take Naga. She matches up really well against Faceless Void because of the Hand Snare. So this is a carry that actually brings Disable and helps lock down the Faceless Void. And they also have decent setup here. You can Song into Ice Path, which is a very good way to stun people. And I think overall, this will make them a little bit more comfortable going late game than last game.
I'm curious what the win rate is on Naga Siren for this particular event. Because I feel like we've seen a lot of Naga, but it hasn't necessarily succeeded.
Including the last chance qualifier, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up after this game for sure. I'll get back to you on that later.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. But I feel like, you know, it seems pretty strong. It's farming, it's doing well, but it just... I'm not sure exactly what ends up happening with that hero, but it struggles. I don't know if some of it's just the other team is so far ahead at that point, or if they just get... I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I don't really agree with that. I think that Nagasaki has been doing quite well in the ones that I've seen, but it could be that I've also missed some of the games. But for sure, one thing I do know is that I like it into this draft. It fits really well. I agree with that. I think that Nagasaki has been doing quite well in the ones that I've seen, but it could be that I've also missed some of the games. But for sure, one thing I do know is that I like it into this draft. It fits really well. But both teams have a lot of threats going into mid and late game. Of course, you have the Leshrac and the Naga scaling up and getting quite strong with their right clicks and their spell damage. But over on the side of Team Spirit, though, you have Invoker plus Faceless Void plus Mars. The team fight will at some point be incredibly powerful. And this reminiscent of how we've seen Liquid drafts. They like having those big ultimates, team fight securing stuff. So come late game, I think Spirit are a bit more comfortable, perhaps.
And it's hard to argue with that just alone with, you know, the Chronosphere Cataclysm that looms on the horizon. But a lot of nice tempo kind of controlling heroes coming out from the side of Entity. Going to be able to push down some of those towers earlier, hopefully. Be very curious to see how this all unfolds. But we do have game number 2, so let's dive on in.
Interesting. Already an interesting thing happened this game, alright? So at the start of the game, Pure buys boots and then uses his Naga illusions and then he sells the boots again. I haven't seen that. It's not a massive impact or anything, but it's a cute little play to allow your illusions to get out there and try to scout something. Otherwise they wouldn't really be able to reach nearly as far as they do here.
That is fairly interesting, yeah. Get a little bit of information.
Yeah, I think he did actually scout out that the illusion was under vision. Now, whether that was the ward or the enemy team being smoked, he can't be 100% sure of. It was both this time.
That's enough out of you.
30 seconds to battle.
Get those consumable balloons getting tossed out as we'll see Amira get hit with the tower.
Yeah, so he knows that there was vision as well. Both teams doing a little bit of vision checking. And I think overall, Entity, they want to go for 4 people bottom here, but they're all being revealed by the Observer Ward. So Toby has to be careful.
Where are you going?
Start with the enchant, the slow. There's the rebound coming into play. Nice spear,
What?
and the
That didn't stun?
Sunstrike gonna be a little bit off. Toby, so
Somehow
chasing
he is
him.
alive. He just walks away. That looked like it should have stunned him, but the spear, I guess, just barely didn't have the range to push him against that tree there. But somehow he's alive. I thought for sure Toby would go down. He is going to have to crawl to base, though, and then TP top. So this is already damaging to his laning stage. Broodmother is going to miss out a bit of the start to the top lane.
And they're also seeing that they do a little bit of a lane swap here. Collapse is going to be in the top lane, and they sent Yatro and Maposhka into the bottom to face off with Pure and Kataomi.
I don't think that lane is fantastic, though, for Team Spirit. Maybe they can win it if they play together.
Lane swap here. Collapse is going to be in the top lane, and they sent Yatro and Maposhka into the bottom to face off with Pure and Kataomi.
I don't think that lane is fantastic, though, for Team Spirit. Maybe they can win it if they play together like this, harassing the Sven. But Naga against Faceless Void, I think, does pretty well. Not easy to be a melee core against the Riptide when it starts spamming out.
So what is the idea then? Because as we said earlier, you're not going to see a lot of spiders in lanes. You're not going to, you know, yes, Collapse is going to be good against spiders eventually, but that's not something that you have to really be considering early on. So why did they go for the swap, do you think? I
think he just doesn't want to lane into Jakiro and the Brood. And they're chasing Jakiro a little bit here. You see Mars and Marcy, tag team. I think he just doesn't want to lane against the attack speed slow of Dual Breath and the Broodmother on top of that. It would be a pretty painful lane for Faceless Void. But this lane is not much better, to be honest.
Interesting. Maybe they thought that they could harass a little bit more using Maposhka. Perhaps that's the idea. But
Yeah. He's getting farm. I mean, it's not going to be terrible straight away. I just don't think it's necessarily a favorable lane that he swapped into. Both lanes would have been difficult. And top lane, we see a fantastic lead, honestly, on Collapse already. That's CSing. He's at 9 and 6.
I feel like this lane is just so strong. To any lane that has a Marcy, I feel, is just very, very strong. You have to be careful of your positioning, because if you're just even the littlest bit out of position. Although they are dishing it right back at Mira. But there's that potential there.
Yeah.
Put that dispose over to Fishman, but...
A lot of the advantage as well comes down to Broodmother not being there at the start of the lane, right? She had to go base and TP out, so she wasn't there for the first creep wave. So naturally the Mars got a bit of free CSing there, as it was 1v2.
Casual Stormhammer being thrown over on Teatro, but again, he's just going to time walk it off. No problem.
It's pretty nice what they're doing. They're immediately killing off the illusions. They steal one with Miposhka, and then they focus down the other illusions, and then the damage of Naga is gone. And that's most of the damage they have in the lane here, is the Riptide from multiple hits.
That's a pretty nice call there. A couple of these couriers coming over from Poshka, hoping that maybe he can get a snipe on it. Does get hit by Kataomi. It does have a couple more mangoes, magic stick charges, and a clarity, so he knows what his life looks like. But Pure now gonna need a little bit of assistance because they don't have the Stormhammer up for another couple seconds. So a lot of harassment being placed on this Naga.
Yeah, Miposhka is having a great time. Being Enchantress against double melee, she is certainly enjoying her time. And again, gonna try to just focus down the illusions. Look at both of them. Just focusing the illusions immediately. And then the damage is not going to continue.
Oh, Kataomi, whew. Sitting a little low. Does have 6 stick charges. In the top lane, they are going for a little bit of a dive here. Putting pressure over on Mira, but... Again, it just continues to be harassed. No one is hard committed, really.
Yeah, Mira tried to jump in and throw back Fishman, but he's tanky enough and gets protected by his Broodmother, so he'll be fine. And,
got a Centaur creep pickup from Miposhka on the bottom lane, so we'll have that potential for more stun.
Yeah, 1400 HP and 8 armor. That Centaur creep is a real bully when it gets to the lane, so Kataomi has to just sit back now. He can't really help his Naga that much. But look at her, she's just stunning the illusions, focusing them down. They really have their approach to this lane. Just always focus the illusions ASAP.
Definitely feels bad if you're Nagas. Let's get stomped over here. A little bit of that slow. From Void, the Sunstrike coming in hot, and that's our first blood going over to Toronto, Tokyo.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that he actually is going for the Exort Invoker. Toronto usually plays Quas Wex, but they do have great stuff for the Sunstrikes here. They have the Chrono as well later on, which is very easy to combine into even before you have Cataclysm. So nice to see him playing the Exort.
Top lane. Collapse getting harassed pretty well, but does have that spear. Just gonna toss Toby back.
Yeah, the illusions are, again, trying to get some space for Pure to farm here, but he does manage to pull the creeps back with him.
And we're seeing Kataomi make his own rotation towards this mid lane. He's got himself a sentry ward. Might be able to get a D ward over here on the side, because they do have the observer.
Yeah.
Fact, they'll see it.
They find the obs immediately, so of course the Invoker's gonna stay safe since he had the vision, but bottom lane, a toss back. Using the Wild Wing to throw in the Naga. And he's just losing so much HP.
I mean, that is the issue when you do that, but Stormstormer, oh, he gets tossed right back here by Mira with the dispose, so be able to grab the Invis rune and secure the kill. Middle lane though, Kataomi will soak some of this experience since they don't have their mid player up on online right now. Oh, Mira.
He's Invis. Mars coming over. They want to try and kill him.
Nothing like the poop emoji saying, hey, look at this guy over here. This is not looking good for Fishman. He's most likely going to fall.
That goes down quickly, and that is 34 last hits, 10 denies, and now a kill to his name as well on Collapse.
Toby getting a bit aggressive with that insatiable hunger. Does have to be a little careful, though. Man, Pure is just taking these impetuses to the face. Ends up losing his courier as well. Look at this. Oh. Ooh, 40 hit points on this Naga Siren.
Yeah, has to
Pure's
be
got to
careful.
teleport out. He can't stay here.
Yeah,
the value of this Enchantress.
yeah, she did so much work in last game, and now again, they're chasing in on Jakiro.
Well, I see Fishman here. Push away, and that's a kill. Sunstrike on Toby, just a little bit off the mark, though, not going to be able to quite find it. As there is the chase in the bottom, as Stormstormer does clean up Miposhka finally. Which I'm sure that's going to make Pure feel good, because he's been pulling non-stop by the Enchantress in that bottom lane.
Yeah, finally he gets some space to farm in the jungle. He really hasn't been able to stay on bottom lane, and that has freed up now that Yatoro is getting complete free farm on his Faceless Void finally. Thanks to the hard, diligent work by Miposhka, of course.
Curious now to see where Miposhka is going to move. There's a couple sentry wards currently, and he's going to join up here with Toronto Tokyo in case the rune does indeed pop up.
Yeah, then controlling both sides. They have Marcy checking top. It's a DD rune.
Marcy's going to grab it. Doesn't want to allow this Jakiro any quarter.
Pretty fantastic start so far for Team Spirits as they are running back towards top lane with Mars now. The Broodmother is the only one who's getting like somewhat back into the game, I would say now, but overall the start for all the cores on Team Spirit is just simply better, and they're trying to make a move mid.
Here, of course, with the double damage, spots out Fishman. Get the dispose. Kataomi, though, jumping in. They might be able to turn this around. Yeah, they'll be able to get the kill on Mir. They will end up losing Fishman. As they do duke it out here in the middle lane. They'll put the pressure over onto this Enchantress Street. Clean up.
Yeah, Exort Invoker did some damage to the tower as well, but running away. Miposhka has no fear, just walking in on his Enchantress. He was spotted by a ward.
Now he is spotted by much of the team, so Stormhammer, even the TP coming out from Fishman.
Yeah, that's a kill for Naga. Gonna speed up her farm a little bit, and she needed something going her way. The lane has not been that great for her. Over on Spirits, they are sort of ignoring, a bit ahead in the sand now about Broodmother, so their emphasis is not on shutting down her.
Followed with Sunstrike. Mir taking so much damage from this Shrek. Will toss back over onto Kataomi, and they will be able to get the kill.
Yeah, this is what you want to see though. When a team is playing Marcy, just make rotations, because she is honestly the strongest hero in the game at catching anyone out of position. It's so difficult to stay safe against Marcy.
Collapses, just handling the Broodmother as much as possible. Mir is nearby. Drops down a ward so they can keep tabs or wherever Toby wants to just wander off to these camps.
Yeah, trying to bring Toronto Tokyo as well. They smoke up, but it is under a Radiant ward, so Toby should have seen that. He's backing out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And bottom tower now, finally, they're starting to take a crack at it as they have level 7 on Faceless Void. He got that time walk, feeling pretty safe. And meanwhile, Entity are making a move top. Mars Collapse is feeling it though. He sees nobody on the map right now.
He's already put his points down, so is not
Yeah,
gonna
no
have that
ulti.
arena. Yeah, there's a lot of lockdown coming out from the side of Entity, so that's very dead Collapse. But some pressure over here in the mid lane looks like. Seeing that they're putting the pressure on top. We'll use the fortification.
It is curious that he decided to go for this like 4-3-0-0 build on Mars. I feel like Mars ulti is low enough cooldown and not that costly. You can definitely use it.
Pose. Follow up with the Unleash. These punches do a decent amount, but do have to be careful. Stormhammer does connect, but Mira's far enough away. Still end up getting the kill on Fishman. The Spirit trying to decide if they want to commit on this or not. Pure is
Sending in
teleporting
the-
out though.
Yeah, just Enchantress with her Centaur, able to get that, securing the kill. Nice jump away and survived by Mira on his Marcy.
Yeah, he's sitting very, very low. Just gonna try to clean up these Enchantress creeps.
Yeah, Yatoro, he does have the full Midas power treads, by the way, and 660 gold. So he's gonna go for a big creep here, get himself a neutral item. The Greed double Midas play from Spirit. Of course, when you run Invoker and Faceless Void, I think it's pretty normal to do the double Midas.
Not playing. They do have the arena now. Not gonna be able to quite land that spear though, as Toby. They can just crawl away. We'll walk into Toronto, Tokyo, and they do have the Vision Mirror jumping forward. And Toby is looking like he is very squashed.
Yeah, he did share all the Sunstruck damage with Spiderlings, but it doesn't really help as he just cannot move. The Orb of Venom slow, the Marcy with the slow from the disposition, and then just the God's Rebuke as well.
Gotcha.
I like how Maposhka's been using these creeps, kind of doing that vision, the scouting, like we saw Beastmaster doing with Hawks in the previous game.
Yeah, it's very important to try and get good intel on where you want to make your moves, and both teams obviously rated very high with the picks that they have. I think Entity are going to have more vision advantage going mid and late game here, just by Spiders plus Naga Illusions. Mid tower goes down to just 2 Forge Spirits and Mira on his Marcy there.
I didn't even bother to pop any spells during that.
Yeah, just using his sidekick was enough. Nobody wanted to go there risking getting caught out by a smoke rotation, but that's one more tower going down. The advantage is building up for Team Spirit as they're 4,000 gold ahead.
Right now, all 3 cores on the side of Team Spirit. Currently in the lead. Top of it, of course, is Toronto Tokyo, 7.4k, 6.4 on Yatro, and Collapse 6.2. They're not too far behind the cores over on the side of Entity, but definitely those Midases coming into play for sure.
Yeah, but the mid lane difference though right now, Toronto Tokyo 3,000 gold ahead basically on his Invoker versus the Leshrac. So having the Midas, having the Travels, and having 1,600 gold already at 13 minutes, this is an absolutely huge Invoker.
Tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
So what is the play here for Entity, right? Because you have a Broodmother that's trying to put the pressure down in the top lane, and it is kind of just keeping Collapse stuck here for the most part. Like, it seems that he's the one who's constantly dealing with the spiders. That's kind of what his job was in this game.
Yeah, I think you want to use the Broodmother, of course, in the space that she creates, but it's probably just them being reliant on trying to get Leshrac back into the game. So try to create stacks whenever you can. They have stacked up the Ancients at least. Leshrac can farm Ancients. It's not, you know, super fast like some other heroes.
Okay, the jump over onto Pure, follow up with the Sun Strike. There's just too much damage. That Naga Siren evaporates.
Yeah, and Marcy pairing up with a Kobold Foreman creep. So fast.
I love this creep. A little bit of a tornado being used over on Toby. The follow-up, Mira's here. Be able to work back over onto Toby. Bringing over the spider babies, but there's a deafening blast. Going to be able to disarm. Just need to, like 1 or 2 more clicks, and the spear will be able to secure the kill.
This is the slowest, most brutal death for a poor little Broodmother, just getting beat down. Didn't even have many spells remaining there. No spear anymore, but just the clicks. Yeah, right now it feels like they don't have a hero to play around on Entity. The Broodmother didn't have the best laning stage, and the Naga Siren, same can be said there. She also would want to farm jungle no matter what. And it all comes down to, can you play around the Lesh? But at this stage, I think Marcy is a little bit too strong as a rotation hero compared to this Dekiro, Sven, and Lesh.
It's wild to
Trying
you
for a
look at
smoke.
Middle tower.
you look at Marcy's items, and she just doesn't have hardly anything, but she's so effective. This hero is busted.
Yeah, she will probably get some post-TI nerfs, I suspect, but we get to enjoy her in her finest form here.
Smoke does end up getting past Toronto Tokyo, and Mira standing nearby. Throw down a meteor. Collapse and
Oh
nice
my
blink
God.
forward. Gets 2 into the arena. The hop down. They should be able to finish off Toby here too, but Mira is going to tick down, plus those spiders chomping all over. Oh, but the little seeds. the Seeds of Serenity. And the sidekick being able to stay alive a bit more. There's another spear over onto Fishman. He has been left behind. He's hoping he can get denied, but no, Yatro will still be able to get the kill.
Yeah, Team Spirit are just able to do whatever they want there. Beautiful catch with Tornado, the meatball coming in, and then comboing with the Mars as well. Right now it feels like all of the cores on Spirit are just growing really fast, but they also just pop together and use their spells. They still have the Chronosphere even. Didn't even need to use it there.
About to say, you know, despite all the different spells used, Yatro's still being allowed to hold on to the Chronos, and that's still something they have to be very conscious about on the side of Entity.
Yeah, we see a replay here, the Tornado into the meatball, beautiful, and Mars just waiting, collapse. If there's a man who knows his timing right when he wants to blink in, I mean, we saw it last TI. Him getting to play on a hero like Mars, very similar to Magnus.
I thought for sure Marcy was dead. We had the spiders chewing on her. She had the remnants of the Jakiro spells. But yeah, Seeds of Serenity coming in clutch.
Yeah, keeps her alive. For now, it seems Entity are just trying to drag this game out as they can. Just split up and try to get towards any form of power spikes. So the closest thing they have is Pipe on the Broodmother. That will be a big impact when they get it. Suddenly, the magic damage, which is quite overwhelming on the side of Spirit right now, they can mitigate some of that. The spiders can stay alive. Oh, the travel in top.
They are. They'll be able to find themselves 3 heroes. They immediate jump over onto Stormer. He's obliterated. An ice path comes out from Fishman. Try to slow them down a little bit. Collapse. I don't know if they're going to be able to grab. Nah, they're not going to be able to go and get their hands on the Jakiro this time. But they do manage to hit the mid laner on the side of Entity, which is very valuable.
Yeah, they're giving them no respite here. The Entity want to get on the map and get some form of farm. They are gonna get mid tower, but even then, Miposhka comes in with his Enchantress and gets the deny against all these spiders. Beautiful lasted by Miposhka. So finally they get a tower, but not even that much tower gold going their way.
Loaded to the gills.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So let's check in with our cores. Looks like Yatro's got himself the Maelstrom, has already got the Treads, and is working on the BKB. And Pure over on the Naga does have the Manta style completed along with Treads. No
Yeah,
TP
and
on
almost
this
has... Yeah, he almost has the Orchid as well. As he sends out here. He just needs the Void Stone as well. He has all the components. So Orchid will be a big power spike. Then they can try to get kills. But unfortunate for them, the BKB is already completed on the Void. So you won't have a timing where you have Orchid and he doesn't have a way to deal with it. There's already a safe dispel for him. And BKB on Invoker as well, so both of them are prepared.
Kosha sitting just very patiently. Toby has to realize that there are people on the way. Yeah, in fact, Tokyo does show up on the wave.
The draw, like the big takeaway for me from these games that we're watching here with Team Spirit is how they use their supports and where they stand. They are taking the areas that are dangerous and, in general, let their cores play in safe areas in a really good way.
Get themselves a Naga Steel using the Enchantress. You can see them, they know, they can see where Pure is. They're going to go for the invasion, take away the creeps, not allow Pure to hit them. Collapse with that blink, looks for the opening, finds Stormer. The BKB comes up for Yatoro and they'll go and use that Chronosphere. Stop being able to do quite enough damage just yet over here to Stormstormer. They were hoping it'd be a quick pick, but there's Song gets used now as the rest of Team Spirit on the back foot. Poshka is going to get netted. It looks like he's going to end up possibly getting left behind. Wants to see if he can get the denial, but no, they'll still find it. The Stormhammer, collapse landing right next to Mira. This is looking a little scary now. Yatoro trying to slow them down. Nice spear away from Collapse. Will clean up some of these spider babies, but at the end of the day, he is spider baby food. And now Mira left behind. There's just too many heroes. That is a beautiful turnaround coming out from the side of Entity. And they get the silence up already, Yatoro. Nice play here from Toronto, Tokyo. A beautiful tornado. Well, they're all in a little line. Will be able to save Yatoro.
If he was not there on Toronto, I think that would have been Yatoro going down. He was trying to just stick around to get a Midas and farm one more creep camp, but He almost went down as well. Now Entity, immediately with the momentum of that win, are going to try to go into Roche Pit, get more for themselves. The respawns are coming out though. Doesn't seem like they're going to be quite in time. Spirit just a little bit too late. They TP down bottom. They recognize that this is going to be an Aegis going over on the side of Stormstormer on his Lesh. But that song was crucial. During the chrono there, they didn't have Ice Path anymore, so sadly they couldn't combo it afterwards, but keeping the Leshrac alive for so long there.
I have to say, Toronto Tokyo really on point with all of these tornadoes. We saw the in that last fight the way he was able to interrupt and then later on using it to save Yatro. But yeah, that song really coming into play because they can't do as much damage as they would have liked against Stormstormer.
Yeah, they committed double BKB as well. They used the Invoker BKB and the Void to just try and DPS down the Leshrac, but couldn't quite finish the job. But now suddenly the game has swung a little bit in the favor of Entity, but still, of course, 6,000 gold advantage over on the side of Team Spirit. They will probably respect the Aegis for a little while. Try to dodge and keep farming up. I love watching Yaturo's quick buy, by the way. When you watch him play, he puts like everything. He has his entire like Christmas wish list down here. It's like one Mjolnir, one Eye of Skadi, I want Aghanim Scepter, I want a Moon Shard. You know, throw in everything.
This is a man who probably has a very good Amazon wish list.
Probably. He's prepared.
Spiders creeping over into this middle line. Quite a few of them, but Clap's waiting behind the tree line. And some pressure being placed by Toronto Tokyo on the bottom lane, but they're smoked up over on the side of Entity.
Yeah, I think they want to go over there. They're looking for any fight they can take right now since they have the Aegis advantage. Leshrac is very, very strong as well during this time. Again, Miposhka with the smoke reveal.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was about to say. The positioning of these supports so on point. It gives the cores enough time to be able to just hide and teleport out.
It's such a conscious decision they do a lot of the time. Whenever they feel like, okay, the enemy are probably smoking, it's just like, supports, you know what to do to the ramps. You know, they put themselves on high ground, on the stairs, basically. But Entity, they might want to fight more. They're keeping Broodmother on high ground for a bit of vision here.
Do you have a BKB completed now for Mars? So more of these BKBs coming out for the side of Team Spirit.
And it won't be the last one. They want to go for one on Marcy as well. She only has the Ogre Club though. Definitely quite a way to go until she gets her BKB, but they are going for the quad BKB approach. That is a good way to counter Leshrac. I mean, so much of his damage is just magical anyway, so once you pop the BKBs, he has to just run around and be awkwardly waiting for them to run out. But you run one risk though. If you pop BKB and your teammates did not, then the song can come in and disjoint your BKB timings and prevent you from killing whatever you wanted. That's pretty much what we saw in the last fight.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It is a tricky line to walk, making sure that you activate the BKB before you go in for the initiation, but at the same time not wasting it and using it too early when that fight is not going to be as epic as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, we see a bit of a, finally for Entity, they equalize a bit and take over the top outpost here. They actually are in control of the bottom outpost as well right now. Team Spirits are waiting to take it back, or they're just hiding, staying off map right now. If they take it outpost, then they show their position as well, so then Entity will suddenly know exactly what's going on. So by not taking it, they are not giving any information for free.
Getting very close to finishing up the Skadi for Naga. I've already got the 2 ultimate orbs.
Yeah, he's scaling up quite a bit, and it's not a bad game to have it. It does work as well as against the time walk. You actually heal less against the Eye of Skadi. Heal reduction works. Same way heal amplification works for time walk. So certainly not a bad game to go for it. Of course, you also just want stats so your illusions get strong enough and don't immediately die. I'm happy we're not seeing the Radiance Naga, by the way. I have to say, I'm not a fan of the Manta first into Radiance second item. Or God forbid, the Radiance first item Naga. I'm not on board with that one.
I don't think we see that too often anymore, do we?
Oh, there's a trend right now. Naga Radiance is being played a lot across many different regions. But I think the first item, Radiance, is the one that I have a big issue with. Going back for its second item, not really my preferred item, but it's, you know, I think it's decent then at least.
Yeah, I've seen him going for the second item Radiance. I haven't seen the first item Radiance, though, very often. But yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay, alright, there's the opening. They find Stormer. Follow up with a Cataclysm, and he is just gonna blow up as now Mira on the run. Would love to get their hands over onto Kataomi, but just a little bit too fast. So a nice pickoff going to the side of Team Spirit.
Yeah, that's
the
Cataclysm
try to reclaim
reveal.
their jungle.
Big kill with the Cataclysm. They of course can combo it either with the Mars or with the Faceless Void quite easily. I suppose you could combo it even with Marcy if she lands a good jump on someone. That's a little bit harder though.
Look at how fast Toronto Tokyo immediately TP'd to the bottom lane. All this happened. They got the pick off, and then he headed bottom to try to push things out, and he finds himself Pure. Does Pure find him is the question, as they'll throw on the Beef Doll over at Fishman. They'll play a nice clean up, but they do pop the BKB.
Yeah.
The spear over onto Toby. They found this Broodmother. They just need to close the gap. Looks like he's gonna be able to just crawl away.
Broodmother's gonna stay fine. Leshak is back now as well, but he does want to finish up his BKB on Lesh. I don't think he wants to fight just yet. Finally, they're gonna get the D ward, the ward that killed off Fishman there. Gets removed. I love that play by Invoker, because he saw that there was Pure on his Naga just farming, but he also knew that it doesn't matter. If I have BKB on Invoker, what can an Orchid Naga do to me? Nothing at all. So he just goes in, gets that kill on the support, keeps his vision alive a little bit longer, and then gets out.
This is a pretty dark map over for Spirit currently. There's a lot of sentry wards. You do have the one over here that just gets placed, the ops, but...
We have God Strength being popped to farm jungle a little bit. Speaks a bit for the pace of the game right now, but he wants to finish that Force Staff. The Force Staff is an item that we've seen more and more picked up lately for a lot of different teams in different drafts even.
Oh yeah. Very, very popular pickup as you see Yatro. He'll put up with a silence and a net claps waiting nearby. Trying to be patient. Pops the BKB. Yatro still alive and kicking the turn over onto Kataomi plus the Cataclysm. Will do plenty of damage, but Yatro, he's not looking too healthy. Does pop his own BKB to try to survive Toronto Tokyo though. Over on the side, dropping the Tornado EMP plus a meatball over onto Toby. Insatiable hunger, but he just can't munch on anything as they give the clicks down. The song is gonna get used by Pure. Looks like they're gonna try to run. Look at that long-range impetus tossed out.
Yeah, these teamfights are not going the way that Entity want. They would probably want to try and like get a chance to set up with the song and then follow up with the Jakiro, but we have yet to see it where they have the luxury of doing that. A lot of fights are too scrappy where they can't really set it up the correct way. Mars taking pretty much no damage there as the Bulwark protects him.
He was not afraid of this Naga at all. Arcane Ring gets picked up by Mira. And again, Yatro holding on to that Chronosphere.
Yeah, he also held on to his BKB for a long time there. He was not worried. I was a little bit worried for him as the Svenstam was coming in with the silence and the illusions hitting him, but he felt safe enough and trusted in his team.
I think that's a big part of playing Dota, is just having faith in your team to follow up and provide the saves, the damage, whatever.
Yeah, when you play at this level, you have to, you know, believe in your team for sure. We see most of Entity looking pretty active right now. They want to keep fighting around this Naga.
Mira, silenced, will become spider food.
Yeah, he jumped into way too much there. Fish and spider food at once.
Bit too aggressive.
Not the biggest of casualties, though. I think not too many tears going to be shed as Yatro keeps farming, hitting creeps. Pretty much off cooldown, just using this ulti and farming creeps in the jungle. Kataomi trying to scale up a little bit on his support.
Does have that force staff like we talked about. Collapse though. Getting into
Watch out
position,
for
they're
the
smoked
chrono.
up. Very patient here. Roche gonna be up in about 36 seconds. You can see that Entity definitely want this this Aegis.
Yep.
Spirit, though,
They can use
very-
their spiders. Scout a little
Very
bit.
patient. Vision on Toby. Look at how fast Miposhka pops the sprites. Just like, no, 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 no. Worried that they're just gonna get the jump in. They have a lot of vision. They've got a lot of information.
He has the gem as well on Miposhka, so he has reason to want to stay alive. Has the quiver on Ench. Very nice item for harassing from far away here. Illusions are shoving back most of Team Spirits. They're trying to move in, but of course the illusions reveal all of them.
They have a hill troll creep right now. Okay, they're gonna go for a little bit of initiation
Oh,
from
the
Toronto
song.
Tokyo. Just poking. Yatoro though, stuck here on the cliff for the moment. There's the rebound off from Mira. Jumping, and there it is. There's the Chronosphere, but the song coming into play. Still managing to get that Cataclysm off, because it wasn't quite over there fast enough. Looks like Mira, though, is going to take a lot of damage. She'll follow up now. Pure stuck in this arena. It's just getting clicked out. It's just so much damage again as they'll chase after Fishman. These impetus going long range. Buyback coming out from Naga Stormstormer. Trying to stay alive. Doesn't have that BKB any longer. Yasuo still having it. He's getting a couple nice bashes, and these impetus, again, just dishing out damage. Turn back around with the Tornado. The buyback from Stormstormer. Look at Kataomi. Toby just getting clicked down as they're gonna try to teleport back, and Pure is here, Stormstormer is here. Poposhka looking a little bit scared, but yeah, here we go. Collapse left behind, does have the net on him. It's not looking too great, but on the back lines they find themselves Stormstormer. It's a triple kill now for Yatoro, and now this is looking very scary for Pure because he's gotta go toe to toe, but Toby is doing the damage. They'll still manage to get the kill. Now Toby, RC, oh my god, they can't kill Yatoro. He is just too survivable.
I think they call
team
it on
wipe,
that.
they call GG.
Yeah, that was... Naga got caught out a little bit too deep. She was using the song there to try and let her team kill off the Marcy while she held the rest. But at the end of the song, he just gets immediately arena'd by Mars there and gets brought down very, very quickly. And Team Spirit looking like the stronger team in both these games here. And pretty fast win for Game 2 and Game 1. They looked pretty confident too. So let's see, Spirit are showing up in good form here. I would say that Entity, they seemed a little bit more like a stressed team than usual, but perhaps when you play against Spirit, they make you stress out a bit as well. There are a lot of small things that gave them an edge in the second game here. I think the trading before